Hello, this video is designed to help you create a hybrid assessment in Elluminate. So you need to be logged into your Elluminate account, then you want to go to Assessments and create a new assessment. For the hybrid assessment option, we're going to choose the second one. And you want to choose how many questions you have to type in. So say I have 10 questions and click OK. You have to title your assessment. So I'm going to title mine. You do not need a description. If you want, you could go to more options. It tells you the date that you first administered it, what academic year. You can choose a subject if you want. If you want to choose which type it is, you don't have to. If you want to select which levels, be aware if you only select 9th grade, 10th graders can't take it. So you might want to take more than one. It's up to you. Show in student and parent portal, yes, you want this test to show up there. And then the performance band is showing which percentages are A, B, C, D, and F. We're going to hit save. So notice this took me to the answer key for my hybrid assessment. So this is where you would type in the answers that you have to your questions. Say you want to make question 9 be graded differently. So I'm going to choose the advanced option. Notice that the point values went away because I'm going to choose what my point values are. If you're not sure how to type in the advanced questions, you can click this question mark. And it shows you that if you want A to be worth 2 points, and then if they circle B, it'd be worth 1 point, this is how you would write it. Maybe you want multiple answers, so saying A and B is 3 points. If they say A, B, and C, it's 4 points. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my answer key. So I'm going to say A is worth 1 point, B is worth 1 point, and if I say A and B, it's worth 2 points. Notice if they circle C at all, they don't get any credit, or D, they don't get any credit. Then we have the last one. We want to maybe make a rubric, and you want to say how many points that they can get. So maybe this one is worth 4 points. However many points you make this question out of for your rubric, you have to make this answer be worth that many points as well. You always want these to match. Say you want to add another question. You forgot about question 11. This time I'm going to say that the answer is true. I'm going to leave it as 1 point. Notice you can always change how many points each question is worth if you want. You can decide if a question is extra credit if you want. You can add the standards to the questions if you want. I'm going to go ahead, save, and go to the Sheet Designer. This is what it looks like when the students take the test. So notice I have options A, B, C, D, E. Maybe I don't need option E. Maybe I don't need 5 choices here. So you can change the number of responses. I'm going to change this to say that it's only 4 choices and click Apply. Now my answers only go A, B, C, D. If I go down here to number 10, notice my rubric doesn't say A, B, C, D. It says that they're going to get 1 point, 2 point, 3 points, or 4 points. For question 11, remember my answer was true. So that means I need to change this to say true and false and delete my other options. So now it will make more sense when they take the test. And we can click Apply. So now that's going to be saved. If you want to set up your responses to not go A, B, C, D, you can always do that as well and choose to alternate between questions as well. Once we have our sheet designed how we want and our answer key typed in, we are going to upload the actual test. So if you go to Setup and Materials, this is where you would upload either the PDF or the Word document of the test. Right now, Google Documents do not upload very well, so they only recommend a PDF or a Word document version. So when you click Upload, it's telling you can either drag and drop the file here or you can click here, and it allows you to find the tests that you want to add and then click OK to open. It's uploaded it, so now I'm going to attach that test. So now this is under the materials for the test. From here, we need to do an online roster. Anytime you want the students to take the test online, type the answers online, you need an online roster. So you're going to do administration, and we're going to do online testing. Right now there are no rosters added, so I'm going to add a roster. You're going to choose what your testing window is going to be. When do you want the test to start? So maybe I'm giving the test on the 31st, and I want them to finish on the 31st. So I'm going to choose the start date and the end date. So for block 3, for example, let's say it starts at 11 and ends at 12:30. And that's p.m. So that's the only time that the test is going to be available for them. You have to choose academic year, so that's 2017-2018. I'm going to keep it as all grade levels because I have a mixed class, but if you don't have a mixed class, you could select your grade level. You don't have to worry about the site. It will always be selected as Steele Canyon High School. The user is, for me, Ms. Turu Biartes, but I believe you won't have an option of changing that on yours. And then for your department, you can choose the department you're teaching in. And then you can choose that it's pre-cal, that's the only thing I teach right now. And then which block you want to do this roster with. Since this is a block 3 roster from 11 to 12:30, that's the roster I'm going to use. So that's going to allow 33 students in my class to take this online test. I'm going to go down here and click Show for administration settings. If you do the all-day window, it's going to give you the window that's up here, so I'm just going to leave that as is, as all day. The time duration, if you don't want a time limit, leave it as 0. If you want them to have only 30 minutes to take the test, that's when you would type in 30 minutes. I'm not going to do a time test though. To allow student pauses, you want to type in a number here. Say 3 is what the default is. So say somebody has to go to the bathroom, they can hit pause and then come back. It's extremely important if you are setting a time limit to set up a pause for that. If you allow them to go to the bathroom during a test, maybe there's a fire drill, and so you need to allow a pause as well. For this one, we're going to allow online entry for all of the questions. The availability, I highly recommend making a password. This is something that would prevent any students not in the classroom from taking the test. So say you have an absent student, they wouldn't be able to have access to the test because they don't know the password. So let's make up a fake password. For your browser, you have any browser and you have locked browsers. Some of you are not seeing this option. The problem is the Elluminate locked browser only works on a Mac or Windows computer. It does not work when it's a Chromebook, which is what students take it on anyways. So we're going to allow any browser or device. The tech department at Steele Canyon created an app for the locked browser, and I'll talk more about that later. For the inline booklet, this is where you're going to add your test to the online roster. So now they'll be able to see the material to my test. I'm going to go to Tool Settings, I normally don't change these, but maybe you have somebody who needs to have a dictionary, so we can enable the dictionary or highlighting, whatever you want to allow them to use, they can. If it is an Elluminate item bank question, that's what this means for the item setting. I typically don't change anything here. Then for the last part, this is displaying the results. Do you want them to see these results? So then that means I'm going to say yes. I don't want them to be able to see the answers until the 31st. And they can start seeing the answers, say, at 11:45. And then I want them to be able to see it until, say, September 6th. But I do not want to allow the key. You don't want them to see what the answers were. So I'm going to hit save. Now that's created an online roster that you can observe the students taking the test with. If you made a mistake, you can hit edit and change the settings. If you forgot your password, it's over here. So now I want to make sure I did everything correctly. So I'm going to preview the assessment. Notice it's coming up with selections here. I'm going to leave everything. I'm just going to make sure I have the test attached. I'm going to click preview. This is what the students are going to see when they take the test. So begin test. Your document is now seen here. So notice I can see how I'm doing on each question. You can scroll down on both sides of the test. So as I'm typing them in, like so. Remember that question 8 was advanced. So this is allowing them to select all that apply. So this one was answers A and B. So notice that allows them to select more than one choice. Notice remember, the answers were A and B. If they only pick one, that's okay. But then if they go to C, that would make the answers wrong for them. Number 10 was the rubric. So this is where they would type in their response, like so. And remember, question 11 was true or false, so we can see that our sheet designer is designed correctly. When you're done, we can review and finish the test. And then you can see what your answers are and click finish. So once you have previewed the test, you like how it looks, you can go back to the roster. Now when the students are taking the test, you can go to live proctoring. This is going to show the students' names and show you what question that they're on. If they get the answer correct, it'll show up in green. And if they're missing the question, it'll show up in red and tell you what the response is. So this is a great place to see all of a sudden everybody's missing question number 7. You'll be able to see that here. You can also, instead of seeing it in this form, you can go to a rostered student form. And this is showing you that you can take actions by student. This is where you would pause the test if you need to pause the test or reset the password. All of those options are available to you. You can also mass pause the test for everybody. And that is the end of the test. So setting it up online, it'll just automatically start when the time frame opens for your roster at 11 o'clock on the day you set it up for. Okay, this is a screenshot of a student's Chromebook. Before the students even bother to log in, you're going to instead instruct them to click on this apps button, which is down here. So they're not going to log in, they're just going to go to the apps button. When they click on the apps button, it creates a pop-up that says Elluminate Locked Browser. That is what they want to pick. This will ensure that they can't browse the internet and look up answers to the test. Once they click the Elluminate Locked Browser, they'll see this screen. Once it's loaded, they'll see this screen, which is how they log into their student portal. Please note that they can go in and log in like normal and access this test without doing this. So you have to go around the room and make sure on their screen they don't have any tabs open up here and they can't search the internet. Otherwise, you don't have a secure test.